Hello, and welcome to the WWIA Podcast. We're honored to have you join us in our mission to bring honor, connection, and healing to America's combat-wounded Purple Heart heroes. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we welcome you. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. Please be sure to tell others about our podcast and leave us a review if you're enjoying what you're hearing. On this latest episode of the WWIA Podcast, WWIA Founder and CEO John McDaniel welcomes Mr. Charlie Buntin. Charlie's a retired Army major, having proudly served our country from 2004 through 2016. Charlie began his military journey as a former member of the Tennessee Army National Guard before attending the University of Tennessee at Martin, where he commissioned through the ROTC as a second lieutenant in the Army Engineer Corps. In 2005, Charlie deployed with the 101st Airborne Division to Iraq. Charlie also served with the 1st Infantry Division, the Delta Company 35th Engineer Battalion, 1st Engineer Brigade, and the 2nd Brigade, 1st Cavalry Division to Iraq. Charlie also served as an instructor of the ROTC program at Middle Tennessee State University for 3 years before returning to Fort Hood for his final assignment as a member of 3rd Corps HQ. His awards include the Bronze Star Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Joint Commendation Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism, National Defense Service Medal, Army Service Ribbon, Parachutist Badge, Air Assault Badge, Combat Action Badge. Charlie is the co-owner of Cigars on the Boulevard, a veteran-owned premium cigar bar and lounge located in Apollo Beach, Florida. Let's jump into the conversation with John and Charlie now.
Hi, I'm John McDaniel, founder and CEO of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation, and this is our podcast, Honor, Connect, and Heal. You know, today's a very special day. It's the 3rd of October, 2023. And, this morning I realized that on the 3rd of October was the very same date that, our forces, say invaded. I don't know if that's the right word, but the Battle of Mogadishu is today. And that was pretty much a JSOC Ranger / 10th Mountain Division thing going after Farrar Aidid there in Mogadishu. And so I just wanted to, mention that. I know the 3rd of October has always been a day that, doesn't get really that recognized. Kind of falls in the same category as maybe the, Panama and other, low intensity conflicts. But I can promise you, if you were there, it wasn't low intensity. But anyway, shout out to all those who participated in that event in the name of freedom and democracy. So God bless you. Anyway, with me, I have a very, very special guest today. His name's Charlie Buntin. And Charlie is the CEO and president, owner, operator of Cigars on the Boulevard here in Apollo Beach, Florida. And so welcome to the program, Charlie.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, so for everybody, it's like what, 10 o'clock, 10:07,
Yeah.
and we're in your bar.
Yeah.
And in your establishment before it opens at what, noon?
Opens at noon.
Here in Apollo Beach. We're, our office, the foundation's office, right down the street. And Charlie was gracious enough to host a fundraiser for us a couple months ago. We had a blast. I drive by this place on my bike every day in my car when I come down to the end of the boulevard. It's beautiful. There's a pool table here. There's a beautiful humidifier. There's a full bar. And I wanted to do a segment with Charlie on being an entrepreneur. You're a veteran, and you're an entrepreneur, and this is to me a great endeavor, and I wanted to just spend some time chatting with you. So, why cigars?
In the Army, we smoke cigars. You can't drink, so you smoke cigars. That's what the O calls were. Excuse me. That's what the O calls were. We had cigars downrange.
Yeah.
I didn't have alcohol.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the camaraderie that cigars bring.
Yeah.
I missed that camaraderie from the Army, so I was trying to find that camaraderie somewhere else, and I found that cigar bars, it didn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from, a cigar will bring two people together.
That's good. Now, when you say, and I agree with you, I appreciate that. Yes, here we are at 10 o'clock in the morning having coffee and cigars. I love it. Now, you said downrange. There's probably a lot of people that most people that listen to this understand what we mean when we say downrange. But you say when we were downrange, we couldn't drink alcohol, and so we smoked cigars. Old call meaning officer call. You were an officer, right?
I was a major.
You're a major, retired as a major.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for your service. United States Army.
United States Army.
Outstanding. So I see over there on your wall is a cavalry hat.
I was in the
right?
Cav.
You were a Cav guy.
I was 101st, first ID, and first Cav. First Cav was my last deployed unit.
Okay.
I served with 1-8 Cav. I was one of, I think it was 3 engineer officers actually assigned to 1-8 Cav. That was the only time it's ever cavalry history that a non-infantry or non-armor officer is assigned to 1-8.
Really?
Yeah. Besides the normal support elements that go within the battalions. The reason that was is because we were on what's called an STT. It is a strategic transition team. It's where they took a bunch of field grade and senior company grade officers, dumped them into a brigade headquarters, and said, you're going to help advise the Iraqi army while these guys do maneuver operations.
What time frame were we?
That was 2010. That last one was.
Okay. And where was your home duty station?
My home duty station was Fort Hood, Texas.
Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Chrisman? I may have asked you that before.
I don't believe I have.
Okay, he was a brigade commander, and he might be listening to this someday, so I got to be careful for what time frame that was. But I know he was there commanding a brigade at the time. I just thought I'd take a shot in the dark. Anyway, so you are an engineer officer by trade, right?
Right, by trade.
Okay, and
we're the castle.
What's that?
We're the castle.
That's right. We're the castle. And so, as an engineer officer, tell us what because I will tell you, as an infantry guy, whenever we had the engineer, assigned to us, or we saw the unit engineer, usually, as I recall, there was an engineer officer assigned to every battalion and probably every brigade, and certainly at every division. There aren't that many of you, but you guys go out and do lots of things. You help breach obstacles. You find mines, you build stuff, you blow stuff up, right?
Correct.
Tell me about what is the role of an engineer officer in a battalion or a brigade element, a combat team of some sort?
So I've always looked at it as we're the guys that when the infantry or armor officer can't figure out what to do, they call on the engineer. And that's not a dig on the infantry or the armor officer by any means.
Of course
they're just looking for a creative way to solve a problem. The engineers bring to the table the ability to blow things up.
Yeah.
We build bridges. So there's an obstacle. Well, there are internal mine plows in an armored battalion.
Yeah.
They have them on tanks. There are ways to get around a minefield for an infantry battalion. But if you want it done quickly and you want it done safely, you call the engineers.
Yeah. And
you have your brigade engineer officer that coordinates with the engineer battalions or the engineer companies or whatever the element you need to make that happen.
Yeah.
We have bridge crew members. We have vertical and horizontal construction. We have combat engineers, which are your demo experts.
Well, and I would imagine, I will tell you from my perspective, as the infantryman's perspective. Imagine, if you will, a meat-eating, knuckle-dragging infantry, just keep it at the battalion level. It's got something like, let's just say 20 officers. I don't know, perhaps more, 25, I don't know. And its battalion strength is, close to 800. And then there's this engineer officer that gets thrown into the mix, right? And so you're part of this team, you know. But I think if it were me and the roles were reversed and I was an engineer and I was supporting an infantry battalion, it's sort of, I don't want to say you're a combat engineer. Of course, you're in the combat arms. You're going to help this team do things that it can't organically do. So it's kind of a unique, relationship and a very unique position to be in. So, and in 2010, you're where? Over in Iraq?
I was in Iraq.
Okay, excellent. And you served there in combat?
It was combat operations. I'm not going to sit here and say I got shot at every day. It's not like the movies where you're constantly getting shot at. There's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of advising. There's a lot of civil military operations. There's a lot of non-combat engagements that you make
Absolutely.
to help strengthen the country of Iraq.
Exactly.
And I did a lot of that.
Yep. Well, they say, combat, in the few times that I, was engaged in active ground combat, I would say, as you know, it's about 99 minutes of boredom interrupted by 1 minute of sheer panic.
Correct.
And you see that panic on TV and in the movies because that's what sells. It's that action. But for the most common soldiers, that's kind of the way it pans out. Anyway, well, we appreciate your service. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about being an entrepreneur for a second, because this segment that we're working on here is entrepreneurs, veteran entrepreneurs, and you fit into that category. I've been here in Apollo Beach since I guess 2005 when I was assigned to SOCOM across the bay, and so it's coming up on 20 years here. And I remember coming through and passing this shopping center here, if you will, this complex that Cigars on the Boulevard is in. And then I remember, 3-4 years ago when you hung up your shingle, because I actually looked at this particular building as a place for my headquarters for the foundation.
I'm glad you didn't get it.
Exactly. Well, we almost did pull the trigger. But it was a wine bar or a place to make wine or something.
Yeah, it was a wine bar first, and it was a boutique store for ladies' clothing. My daughters, at the ages of, I think they were 4 and 6, loved coming here and getting earrings and things like that. And
that was on that side over there.
That was on this side.
Yeah, that's right.
Right where we're sitting right now.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I always admired the space, and I really looked hard at it. I brought my staff here. We looked at it, and but there was some construction that needed to happen and some remodeling and this kind of thing in order to make it our own. And I was like, I just don't have the bandwidth to mess with this. So, we kind of moved on. Actually, we went to Brandon and got an office in Brandon because there was nothing here in Apollo Beach that suited our needs. And now we're back in Apollo Beach and very happy. So, those that work at the headquarters every day, all live here in Apollo Beach. So, it's an easy little commute for us. But you've done very well, my friend. This is a beautiful, beautiful facility. It's great. I love the pool table. Here we are. I'm smoking one of my favorite cigars and drinking a cup of coffee and chatting with a veteran. And you're an entrepreneur. Tell us, okay, a little bit about, from your perspective, what it's like to take that step, and your story about becoming an entrepreneur, an owner of a cigar bar that serves, liquor and beer and cigars. And, tell us about that. Well, it's very different in the military. Yeah. In the military, you have standards. Hey, go do this. Roger, sir, got it. We'll make it happen. There's the E4 mafia that exists. The E4 Mafia, who we don't speak about, but I want to take a risk of speaking about it. I love the E4 Mafia. And then you disappear. Oh, I say it all the time. I say it all the time. I love it. Those are the guys. The sergeants are the backbone of the Army. Yeah. All day long. And the E4 Mafia give you the sergeants plausible deniability. You don't have that here. Yeah, everything's legal. Everything's done right. But, and you know what else is? Your I don't want to say your E4 Mafia, but your enlisted crew. I'm trying to bridge the gap on the analogy, but really your employees, depending on how big you get, but your employees are really like the core of your NCOs and soldiers, right? I mean, you can't do it yourself. No, I can't. You can't. There's no way. You got to have people working for you, right? I'm very fortunate in my staff. I have great bartenders. They do work hard for me. They are very motivated, and they go for a common goal. Their goal is motivated by money, which is fine because it's a business versus service of country or, trying to better their life from some place they came from. Right. It's just different. Yeah, for sure. Figuring out how to motivate civilian employees versus military employees is night and day. And the other thing is in the military, you don't have to worry, as a leader in the military, you don't have to worry about their paycheck. No. You don't have to worry about Uncle Sam handles that. You don't have to worry about your paycheck. No. See, as an entrepreneur, this is the thing. This is the rub as a guy who fancy myself an entrepreneur as well. when you're the guy that has to when you're the guy that has to worry about other people's pay,
Mm-hmm.
that turns the page, man. That's a different thing. And, in the military, hey, leadership's leadership. You still got to provide leadership every single day, purpose, direction, motivation, and all that. But on your shoulders is the responsibility for making sure that this is a going concern so that they can get paid, right? That's a different story.
Exactly. And one of the great things about Cigars on the Boulevard, and I appreciate our patrons for this, is since day one, we put X number of dollars in the bank, said, hey, here's our starting capital.
Yep.
Let's pray we never have to go out into our pockets again.
Yeah.
And we never had to go out of our pockets.
Awesome.
We've been in the black since day one. Now, I've come close to that line a couple of times where I'm like, I'm going to have to come out of my pocket for this month.
You can feel it.
And then all of a sudden, we have an event. And it kills it. And it just changes everything. Or one of our bartenders has a great idea and says, hey, Charlie, let's do this for this Friday night. Guarantee we pull in it. So we pump the idea and we kill it. Yeah. And it's a team. It really is. And they're looking at their tips. They're more than they are their paychecks, because that's one of the great things that helps them out.
That's well said. I'll tell you that, for me personally, it's been years, and I was smoking cigars, I guess back when I was really smoking cigars. It wouldn't be uncommon for me to have maybe 2 or 3 cigars a week. I wasn't a very heavy smoker.
It's not daily.
I know you're doing it daily. Well, all right. Well, I just never. I mean, I enjoy it, but I don't. I'm sitting here smoking a cigar right now with you and absolutely loving it. I'm gonna have that cup of coffee. I'm gonna be flying all day long after a cup of coffee and a cigar at 10. But I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed pool tables. When I came in here and I saw the pool table, I'm like, yes, and we had that fundraiser here. It was a great crowd. Mm-hmm. We appreciate you doing that for us.
Happy to have done it.
And we did that on Purple Heart Day to commemorate, our nation's Purple Heart recipients. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. And we had a great night and proud to be here and also, showcase what you're doing. But let's go back a second here. Let's take another step back about being an entrepreneur and having the weight of, how are you going to pay the bills? What about the employees? And, all those things that run through, your mind. Tell us, if you don't mind, where do you've always said, hey, leaders typically spend about 90% of their time on 10% of their problems or challenges. Okay. Now, without getting too deep into it, I'm just curious, because if you ask me, hey, where do you spend, what is that 90-10 ratio for me? What does that look like? I'm asking you, what's that look like?
So my 90-10 ratio is probably events. We want to have an event once a quarter. And I spend 90% of my time planning that event. Like we have Oktoberfest coming up on the 6th of this month.
Yep.
Would love for you to buy a ticket. Love for you to tell people about it. It's $30 a ticket.
Tell us about that event.
So it's $30 a ticket. You get a beer stein.
Okay.
We give you a stein, a liter stein, a liter of beer, 2 brats and 2 sides for $30.
And this is when?
This is Friday.
This
Friday, yeah. It's short notice, I know, for the people.
No, hey, that works for me. I mean, I've got that works for me. I love it. And you're gonna have Oktoberfest beer in here, a keg of it or something.
We're gonna have 2 kegs of Weinsteimer.
Oh, I love that beer.
Yeah, it's a great beer. And then after that, we're gonna keep that on tap as our normal beer. Oh, so it's our debut beer. We're gonna have their rep out here.
Smart.
And he's gonna be out here giving giveaways and things like that. Yeah. We're gonna have cigar sales.
We got the Rays in the playoffs too, man.
So we're gonna Tampa Bay Rays them too.
Yeah, I mean the Tampa Bay Rays are. That ought to be cigars and baseball go well for you too.
They don't hear though. We try playing the Rays and we get a couple of fans. They'll watch it if it's on. But
what are people doing when they're coming in here? You got a club.
They're more
of guys.
talking.
You got a club of dudes that sits out here on the porch And I'll tell you, they don't know me from a hole in the wall. And I've rocked up here, I don't know, half a dozen times. And what day is that? That
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. So I showed up on a Tuesday, and they were the friendliest lot. Man, I know I could have integrated into that group just like that, man. They were super cool dudes.
And that's how every group is here.
Yeah.
We have, every once in a while you have a business meeting. Every once in a while you have a group of guys that are just wanting to talk about, really close friends that are just talking about life amongst friends. But 9 times out of 10, you walk in here, hey, can I join you? Sure, man, sit down. I'm sitting by myself.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Exactly.
That in cigars is the commonality that bring people together. Yeah. I've seen people get jobs here. I've helped people get jobs here. I've had guys that are out of work. They come in and like, this is my last buck. I'm like, let me buy you a cup of coffee and you pay for your cigar. And they're like, just that gesture of kindness for a cup of coffee that cost me 50 cents.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, man, I was looking at you here. You're wearing a plaid shirt, blue jeans, and a cowboy hat. So you come from that part of the country?
I come from Tennessee.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me about growing up, man.
I grew up in Tennessee. Loved country music. Grew up on country music. Joined the Army when I was 18, the National Guard specifically. Went through college in the National Guard in University of Tennessee at Martin.
Okay.
While I was in the National Guard, I was a medic. Wasn't a very good medic, so I decided to become an engineer officer.
If you're not a good medic, it's time for a career change.
It was time for a career change, so I commissioned as an engineer officer. I was a really good engineer officer.
I love it.
I could always figure out how to.
You're better at blowing stuff up than fixing guys that did get blown up, huh?
Well, I could fix them. It just the whole bedside manner thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at.
So your sensitivity, I remember a little side, I was an ROTC. I was an ROTC dude. I did enlisted time before that, but so I have to always say that. But when I went to ROTC after a short enlistment period, I remember going to the advanced camp out in Fort Lewis, Washington. It was my first real, deployment, if you will, quote unquote, in the summertime, but to go do this, this camp. And I remember, just knocking it out of the ballpark as a former athlete. It just wasn't. It all came very easy to me, right? Mm-hmm. And then it came time to get graded. And they pulled you aside, and you kind of like, hey, here's where you're at. And you get scored as a cadet. You got to graduate from this thing. And I remember, having basically pegged out all the things that you needed to do to graduate. It was all high marks, except for one category where I just didn't score very well on at all. And it was sensitivity. And I just remember chuckling, to myself, I was going to pass. It wasn't like a failing thing. But I mean, I got low marks on sensitivity, and so when you say bedside manners, I presume that's probably in that same arena.
I've changed. I've done a 180 since then. Having a business, you can't be unsensitive.
That's right.
You have to understand where your bartenders come from. They're not soldiers.
That's right.
They're not. Your bartenders and cigar guys aren't soldiers, except one. I have one soldier that works for me, and I can talk to him however I want. He's my brother. I'm like, hey man, I need this done. He's like, all right, cool.
But that's a great point. And let's talk about transition, and me too. I mean, we all go through it. And this is for all the veterans out there that are about to transition or still transitioning from the military into the civilian life. That's that idea of sensitivity. And I don't know, there's probably other ways of talking about it or mentioning it, but you really do have to be a little more, and I don't mean that to sound pejorative in any way, shape, or form, but a little more sensitive to or aware of the fact that you are not in the military. You can't speak to people, the way you once did. And oh, by the way, your rank is gone. I mean, you're just Joe Blow on the block, man. You got no shiny shit on your uniform or your hat. You're not an officer. You're just amongst them, right? And that's a big transition for a lot of guys, isn't it? Yeah,
it is
for sure.
All
right.
Something's beeping. I don't know what it is. Anyways, one of the things that when you do make that transition, you no longer have the shiny stuff on your hat anymore, or your uniform. It's being a major in the Army, and the cup of in 250 will get you a cup of coffee at Cigars on the Boulevard.
Yeah,
the 250 means more than the major rank.
That's right.
all day long.
That's right.
I have sergeants majors come through. I've had general
I was
officers come
here.
through.
There was a sergeant major here.
Mhm.
When I showed up, he was he saw our ad. Someplace he was traveling, was on TDY or something like this, and he came in. It was great to see him. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about cigars for a minute. All right. I mean, you've got a whole humidor over there of product. I mean, if you had to guess, about how many different kinds of cigars are you offering here?
I have roughly 200 facings in there.
200 different brands of cigars.
Well, not different brands, just different facings, so different flavor profiles.
Oh, okay. Talk about that for a second.
There's all kinds of flavor profiles. There's Corojo, Sumatra, Habanos, Maduros, Connecticut's, just to name 5.
Okay.
Those are the basic 5 you'll always get.
Okay, so let me break because I thought, I didn't know any of that. All right, so I like that. I like to learn. But in my mind, when I talk about cigars, I talk about the very basic stuff. You have mild, medium, and
full body.
And full body,
and
right?
that's how we usually present them all.
Okay.
And the reason we do that is because of the average person who's just coming in for a cigar, just, hey, I'm having my once a month cigar and my whiskey, doesn't do the study and know the difference between Corojo and Sumatra. And I'm not calling them ignorant by any means. I'm just saying they don't care, nor should they. Right. This is their once a month cigar. This is not their hobby. This isn't their job. It's like going out to the range and wanting to shoot an AR-15 for the first time.
Right.
I just want to shoot an AR-15 because I've never done it before.
Sure.
It fires a 5.56. Okay, cool. It fires a 223 or 5.56.
Yeah.
And that's great. It does that. I just want to shoot the AR-15. Okay, cool. Let's put you on a range. Let's get you a safety check and do all that good stuff. It's a fun thing to do.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
But going back to the cigars, but we have all those different cigars and different flavor profiles.
Those flavor profiles that you mentioned, those 5 that you just mentioned.
The 5 most common.
Okay. Do they all fit in a different, mild, medium, or full body? Are they all in that range?
Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, your Maduro is a full body.
Yeah.
You can get them in a medium body also.
But a Maduro is a darker wrap.
It's a darker wrap.
Okay.
And it's usually, not all the time, a full body cigar. The Corojo, the Habano, and the Sumatra are usually a medium body cigar. Every once in a while, you get more of a full body or a lighter body. And Connecticut is always a light body cigar.
I'm partial. I've always been partial to this particular
Patron 64.
Yeah, Patron 64. I was born in 64. Not that matters, but when I saw that and I fired up one of these cigars years and years ago, I was like, wow, that's my smoke. Now I prefer, if you say, okay, what's better than this? A Cuban. I like a Monte Cristo number 2.
Monte Cristo number 2s are very good.
I really enjoy it. So what category is that?
So Monte Cristo number 2 is a medium body cigar. Most Cuban cigars are medium to light body cigar.
Okay. How about this one?
That one's a medium body cigar.
Okay, so that's what I like then.
So I'm going to knock Cubans for a second.
Go for
Not
it.
the country, not the people, but the cigars.
Okay, go ahead.
So the reason they're so popular is because they're the forbidden fruit. You can't get them easily.
Well, that's right.
So that's why people like to smoke them. They're a good cigar.
Yeah.
But I have things in my humidor from Esteli, Nicaragua, that'll blow one out of the water.
Yeah.
And not think twice about it.
Yeah. Like if you did a blind taste test with cigars, most people probably would be like, oh, I like this one.
And it'll be from Esteli, Nicaragua.
Absolutely.
I will bet money on it.
Yeah.
We have a Rodriguez family cigar in there. It's one of my cheapest cigars by price point, but it's also one of my best flavors.
Say that name again.
Rodriguez family. It's from Key West, Florida.
Okay.
They get all their cigar tobacco from Esteli, Nicaragua, and it's one of the best cigars you'll ever smoke.
So why is it that it's just down the street, here in Ybor City? Mm-hmm. Tampa's a cigar place, and this is what I heard years ago. I used to hang out in Ybor City and smoke cigars and drink coffee and play chess, and down there at Ybor City, there's a ton of cigar manufacturers, or there used to be. There still is. They're rolling cigars, manufacturing cigars down there. And I heard that the reason that the Cubans, a long time ago, I'm guessing, came here to Tampa and started, manufacturing cigars here is because the climate, no surprise, in Tampa land, where we live, is very similar to what was going on in, Cuba or Havana. Is that the way?
You're not far off.
Okay, tell a
So
story.
what happened was, I learned this year.
Okay.
We're going to start with Mr. Ebor.
Okay.
Ebyr.
Right.
He didn't spell his name Y first.
Oh, he
It
did
was
not.
E first.
Okay.
When it became the city, it was spelled Y, if I remember the story correctly.
Interesting. Okay.
He immigrated from Cuba to Key West. Opened cigars there. Key West was the cigar capital of the world when with all the immigrations from Cuba.
Wow.
America cracked down on Key West for immigration, pushed further north into Ybor. Ybor, if I remember, I think this. Don't quote me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Ybor was swampland at one point.
Doesn't surprise me.
It got built up, much like Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And now the families immigrated from Key West up to Ybor, therefore making Ybor City the cigar capital of the world.
I'll be darned.
Or at least the U.S.
Right. Now, are they still... No, Fuentes down there? Who else?
Fuentes is still in Nicaragua.
Okay. Who's here?
J.C. Newman.
Say it again?
J.C. Newman.
Okay, that's right. They got a building.
But they own Fuente.
Okay.
So Fuente is technically here.
Okay, so that's what I thought.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, excellent. So, like as a business guy, right? I mean, if you're in the business of cigars, you should know your product line, and you certainly do.
Okay, I know it. There's people that know it better than I do. It's just like when you're in the Army.
Right.
You do the infantry.
Yes.
Your NCOs were subject matter experts in the infantry.
Absolutely.
Same thing here. I've got Michael, one of my cigar guys, blows me out of the water when it comes to, he's also my brother. He was in the infantry in the Army. Blows me out of the water when it comes to cigars. I can't hold a candle to him. Nick, my other cigar guy, civilian his whole life, great cigar guy, blows me out of the water when it comes to cigars. Scott, one of my reps, same thing.
You're saying knowledge of product.
Exactly, knowledge of product. I know my stuff.
Yeah.
I know it very well. These guys, I'm just going to sit here and be quiet in the corner.
You gotta know. Well, you know what? That's a humble thing to say, and I really appreciate it because you got to surround yourself in business with people that are better than you.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what this is about. How many times have we been told when we were in the Army, hey, if you're going to build a team and you have any opportunity to say who gets on that team, typically you're just given a deck of cards to play with, right? Mm-hmm. But, if you can shape that team with key leaders, it's best to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
All day long. And I have done that. My bartenders, Amanda, I call her my first sergeant all the time. She runs this place. She runs this place.
Good.
She absolutely does, and she does a great job of it. I like to think of myself as a leader here, and that's what I bring to the table. I bring leadership.
So let me ask you on the topic of leadership, right? Well, if you had to describe your leadership style, okay, I would probably struggle with that question. I don't know how I would do because I don't think I've ever been asked that question. But let me ask you. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, man, but I just
but that's okay.
All right. but how would you describe your leadership style?
So remember how I said I wasn't a very good medic because I didn't have bedside manner?
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to have bedside manner as an officer and learned how to listen to my soldiers and listen to my non-commissioned officers.
Yeah.
I learned that when they're going through a hard time, that might be affecting them. So my leadership style is a caring leader, someone who cares about what's going on in their private life. Yeah. Hey, I'm getting married this week. Cool. I'm blocking this entire week off for you, making sure your shifts are covered.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I might need your help on making some stuff happen, but you're covered. I have a nail appointment. All right, cool. It's a nail appointment. We'll figure this one out.
I got your shift.
We got your shift covered.
Right
I got a hair appointment. And these are all specific women because the vast majority of people I have working for me are women.
Yeah, right.
The guys are a little easier in the aspect of, hey, Charlie, I got a class I want to take for security.
Right.
Okay, that's your other gig.
Yeah.
My brother does security on the side. He's had some classes he had to take. I get his shift covered. Nick's easy. He wants to go to a concert every once in a while.
Right on.
So I just, I try to adhere to their needs as much as possible without just flat out saying, oh, you get whatever you want.
Right on. Well, before we kicked off the podcast here, we were chatting. You said that You've got, you asked me if I had any, veterans that, were interested in, maybe perhaps coming to work for you here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just, because you never know who's listening to this, right? But, here we are in Apollo Beach, Florida, in between St. Pete and Tampa. There's I think 7% of our of Tampa's society writ large, are veterans. I just saw that stat yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I don't know what I would have guessed it was. I guess I probably would have been, below 10% on my guess, but I wouldn't have nailed 7. But that's a lot because it's a big city, right? So tell us about this opportunity and what you're looking for.
So what I'm looking for is a couple of cigar guys. Okay. People who act as fill-ins, people that might want to work a couple of days a week. It's not a full-time gig.
Okay.
It's something for supplemental income.
All right.
Someone that's wanting to, I have another job or I get paid enough through the VA, just want to go hang out, smoke cigars, talk to people, help somebody find a cigar. So you need to have a basic knowledge of cigars.
Okay.
You don't have to have an in-depth knowledge, but a basic knowledge of cigars. Just like you were saying, light, medium, full body.
Okay. And what would this person do? If you get a couple guys, what would they be doing?
They would make sure my boxes are filled in the cigar in the humidor.
Okay.
So I have some stashed away that you'd pull the empty box, you'd take the empty box off the shelf, put the full box up.
Okay.
You would clean ashtrays, bar back for the girls that are bartending, and you get tipped out by the bartenders.
Right on.
And I'll talk money with them offline.
How do they get a hold of you?
You can call me at Cigars on the Boulevard or email me at charlie@cigarsotb, that's Oscar Tango Bravo.com.
Excellent. You also have a website, don't you?
I do have a website.
Tell us about
my email
that.
address is on cigarsotb.com. That's Oscar Tango Bravo.
Okay.
You can reach me through the website.
You're on Facebook, too?
I'm on Facebook. You can reach me there.
Yeah.
I'll grab one of my cards while I'm still talking real quick.
All right, you can walk over there. We got great range on these things, by the way.
That's
Don't
good.
worry about it. Yeah.
So we'll get you, the phone number is 813-296-1016. I say again, 813-296-1016. You can call me on that number. Those are all great ways of getting in touch with me.
Let me ask you something, man. If you had to give any advice to a veteran, or anybody for that matter, who might be listening, and thinking about starting their own thing and being an entrepreneur, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, the first advice I would give them is not about being an entrepreneur. It'd be about how to live life.
Okay.
Living life is just remember you're not alone. You have friends in your corner. A lot of veterans I find get out of the military and they go through withdrawal, they go through depression because it's not the military anymore. They don't have the camaraderie. You're not alone. You can still reach out and call your buddies from the Army. I talked to my old first sergeant just last night. I gave him a phone call just to see how he was. Checked on him. Do your buddy checks, things like that. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you want to become an entrepreneur, there are ways of doing it. I have a business partner. You can go in it alone. There's business loans out there. Yep. Have a solid business plan. If you need help with your business plan, come talk to me. I'll be happy to help you with your business plan.
Good for you. You got a business partner.
I do.
Tell us about your business.
So
partner.
Kevin Elwell, I kind of boondoggled him into the cigar business.
Okay.
He started out as like, hey, I got a great. He's a serial entrepreneur, is what I like to call him.
Love it.
He's owned multiple bars throughout his life. He's owned Kids Are Kids. He owns rental properties. He's a self-made man. And he was helping me become a self-made man myself. We went into this business, 50-50 partners, and he, without getting into too much of the details of the contracts, we were 50-50 from day one. And first thing that happened was I said, hey, I have an idea for a cigar bar. He's like, great, you find the land, I'll go in with you. Then it became, well, we need a liquor license. You find a liquor license for me, and I'll go in with you. So I found a liquor license on Craigslist. And then
you found a liquor license on Craigslist.
Yeah, I just sent him the link.
Love that.
I didn't even put a subject line in there. I said, read link in the subject line or something like that. And then he goes,
I love the smile on your face.
And then he goes,
man.
where did you find this? I said, Craigslist. Didn't you check the link? And he goes, yeah. And then he goes, he says, okay, so you found the liquor license and the land. It looks like I'm in. So I kind of boondoggled him into doing it.
How'd you meet him?
We do CrossFit together. My kids went to Kids Are Kids, where he owned.
Okay.
Which is one of his businesses he owned.
Excellent. Well, good. Now, it's good to have people in your corner. No single points of failure. Partnerships are great. That's phenomenal. I've really enjoyed our time together. Here, Charlie. Let me ask you. About the future here. With Cigars on the Boulevard. Entrepreneurs kind of have a vision, if you will. Say, hey, this is where we are right now. And you don't have to have a plan to conquer the world. And I'm just asking you, when you think about your business model, your business plan, in the future for Cigars on the Boulevard, what's that look like?
I honestly don't know right now. We're trying to figure. We want to keep doing quarterly events.
Yeah.
We want to keep our patrons happy, just a place where they can relax.
Yeah.
Smoke, enjoy it.
And this is a growing community. I mean, right next door. When I parked, before we started this, I came into your establishment here. There's the sound of nail guns going because there's a huge complex going up right next to you here. That's going to help you. I mean, hey, when I moved here almost 20 years ago, you could have played a football game right out here, on this boulevard,
right,
and probably got through a quarter before a car came by, you know. But the things have changed quite a bit. This whole South Shore area is just blown up. So I got to imagine that you're from my perspective, you're in a pretty good position here.
We are. We're making money. Like I was telling you earlier, day one, we put X number of dollars in the bank, said, hey, this is the amount of money we're putting in the bank. Let's try not to ever come out of our pockets again.
Yeah.
And we never have.
Good for you.
And that's been an amazing blessing. God has truly blessed us on that.
For you.
I've come close a couple of times where the pucker factor was really tight. Where it was like, am I going to make bankroll this month?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we have an event, or one of my bartenders has a great idea, not knowing that we need the money, but just has a great idea, and we kill it.
Yeah.
And now I don't even worry about that anymore. We've never used a credit card. We've never had a line of credit with any of our distributors. We just pay cash for everything.
Good for you. That's great. And you got I'm looking at a full bar of liquor behind you there. It's just very well done. So, I mean, you guys are a full service bar here. Mm-hmm. You got great bartenders, you got great help, you got great product, and there's lots of room to be proud here. And, I certainly appreciate what you've done. And that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. People don't realize, it's the best of times. It's the worst of times. I mean, they don't see the day-to-day grind that you go through and the worries of, hey, how am I going to make payroll as an example?
Right.
But that's part of it. With it comes some freedom too, right?
Right.
Freedom as the boss, and there's certainly some privilege, but with that also comes a great deal of responsibility.
Exactly. I mean, I might take a few days off just to go do things with my family, but then I might be stuck here for 4 days because a bartender gets sick or a cigar guy gets sick and I need to cover down. So it's not just total freedom. It's
nice.
You have to do both.
Well, I'll give you an opportunity to take the last shot. Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, I do. I want to give a couple of shout outs to another veteran-owned business.
Sure.
If that's all right.
Absolutely.
The Nifty Deli. It's on Flamingo.
Okay.
It's a sandwich shop. It's veteran-owned.
Where is this now?
It's on Flamingo, right off of 41. So the quarter 41 in
Flamingo. So you go up to 41, you bang a right?
Yep.
And how far down is it?
About a mile.
And it's a sandwich shop.
Sandwich shop.
Okay, well, I did not know
that.
Good. Which complex is it?
It's in that complex right behind the diner.
Oh, it's behind the diner.
Yeah.
The Apollo Beach Diner.
Yeah.
And tell me the name one more time.
Nifty Deli.
The Nifty Deli. Okay.
She is a Afghan war veteran and as an AG soldier.
Okay.
And I just wanted to give a shout out to her just for the sheer fact that she's
What's her name, if you don't mind? Her first name?
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll go visit her. I have a sandwich in her shop and appreciate and say thanks for your service. That's outstanding.
I just like giving shout outs to other veteran-owned operated businesses when I can. There's more than that. There's Edward Jones has Mike Ball that works there. just, support the veterans, guys.
Yep.
We got to support ourselves, because that's what we did in the Army, and the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, now the Space Force, and the Coast Guard. I almost forgot about the Coast Guard. Can't forget Homeland Defense there.
That's right. The international ambassadors of the world, right?
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, again, I appreciate your time, and it's great to see you again. Thanks for what you did during the Purple Heart fundraiser that we did for the foundation, and it's a pleasure to know you, and we wish you the continued success. And we'd love to work with you again on another, venue here. So we're always open to ideas as well. Help our veterans. And thank you very much for what you've done and your time here today.
You're welcome. Happy to have done it.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
All right.
That's a wrap.
All right.
To learn more about the mission of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation and how you can get involved, please visit our website at WWIAF.org or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you for listening to the WWIA Podcast and for helping us honor, connect, and heal our combat wounded Purple Heart heroes through the power of the great outdoors. If you like what you're listening to here and would like to join our team in our mission to bring healing power and recovery to America's Purple Heart heroes, please become part of our Sponsor a Hero team by clicking on the link in the podcast notes or by going to WWIAF.org/sponsor. That's WWIAF.org/sponsor. Our heroes need you now more than ever. Thank you.